to Lair, the Alchemist, where we discuss all things heavy metal and hard rock. On today's episode, 10 of my favorite album closers. These are the final tracks on a record that just take the album out perfectly, that put an exclamation point at the end of a great record. I'm a fan of records that feel like you're going on a journey. The first song is great, the last song is great, and when that last song hits, it sort of puts a sense of closure to the album. In fact, I don't like when the whole bonus track craze was happening with CD reissues, and I'd have an album that I love, great album closer, the song ends, and then they would stick a couple bonus tracks or something on the end. It would always kill the mood for me. I always wanted my bonus tracks to be on a separate CD, or I would try to just end it before the bonus tracks came up, because it always just felt strange to me. Okay, so I picked 10 of my favorite album closers. Number 10, from The Who's Next, the song Won't Get Fooled Again. I did a video where I had bands that I should like but don't, and The Who was one of them. But this is a great record, even if I'm tired of some of the songs on here, like Behind Blue Eyes and Bob O'Reilly. They get played to death on classic rock radio. But Won't Get Fooled Again is an amazing song. Great way to end the album. Pete Townshend's massive, big chords. Roger Daltrey's legendary scream. I love there's a video for it. When he goes into that scream, Pete Townsend is sliding across the stage on his knees. Those great drum fills from Keith Moon that sort of bring in the end of the song. Great album closer. Next, from Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction, the song Rocket Queen. This is another album that I'm sort of burnt out on a lot of these songs because they get played like crazy on classic rock radio. But this to me is a great song, maybe my favorite song on this record. It's a great way to end the album. The drum intro, the groove to it, and I love when the song sort of stops and breaks down and it goes into that major key like riff, and Axl's doing that vocal line that's just soaring over the top. Don't leave me stand, don't leave me alone. And he just keeps getting like higher and higher until that last note that he just holds out, and the song just sort of, you know, hangs on that last chord. So great album closer to a great hard rock album. Okay, Dio from his first album, Holy Diver, the song Shame on the Night. Amazing record. I love the moody intro to it, and what really makes it for me is the end of the song when it goes into that that really dark sounding, very Sabbathy sounding riff, and it just sort of fades out there, and there's like some little, like, I don't know what they are, voice noises or something as the song's fading out. Great album closer. Shame on the Night. All right, from Iron Maidens, The Number of the Beast. Iron Maiden would have a lot of albums end with really great epic numbers. You had, To Tame a Land on Peace of Mind, and a lot of their records, ended with great closers. Hallowed Be Thy Name is amazing. The Tolling Bell at the beginning. I'm a sucker. Anytime I hear a tolling bell, I love it. The song builds great. The way those guitar harmonies are, just sort of capturing the whole mood of the whole song. Bruce's performance is epic. The end of the song when everything's jamming out and he's up really high. Hallowed be thy name. Just, wow. Absolutely incredible. The Doors, from their first album, the final track on this, The End. Whenever I hear this song, I always think of the movie Apocalypse Now, one of my favorite movies of all time. The movie starts with the beginning of this song, and it ends. At the end of the movie, they play some of the end of this song. This is another one that just builds great. I love that guitar line at the beginning. It's got this minor key, a little bit of a flamenco-like feel to it, that bass line, that repetitive bass line. The song just keeps building and building until Jim is like, screaming, and it just sort of crashes, and just a huge ending, a song that builds really, really well. The Doors, The End. Okay, from Black Sabbath's Mob Rules album, the song Over and Over. I have a Black Sabbath podcast with my friend Darren, Into the Void, a Black Sabbath podcast, and we talked about what a great album closer this song is. A real deep cut sort of for the band. And I love the drum intro and the feel of the song. It has this sort of slow grinding feel. At the end of the song, when the vocals just keep repeating that over and over, and Tony Iommi's playing that solo that's just getting like crazier and crazier until it's like his hand just like flies off the fingerboard, and then the song fades out. Having a fade out at the end of an album too, I think is great. It's just, I don't know what it is, it just sort of draws you in, and the whole thing just sort of sails away. I could have went with Lonely as the Word too, from Heaven and Hell. That's a great album closer too. Alright, let's put this one over here. Here's a legendary one from the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper, A Day in the Life. The part where the song, the piano is just at the beginning, you know, I woke up, got out of bed, and then it just keeps building, and there's that voice in the distance, and the song just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger until there's just that big chord crash at the end, and that note just sustains for, I don't know how long, it's got to be like a minute or more. It's just incredible. You know, legendary album, and just an amazing way to end the record. And even more mind-blowing to think that when they did this, the technology that they had was so limited, and for them to create something so dynamic and massive and just explosive, the way that ending is nothing short of incredible. Okay, this is a song that is the butt end of a lot of jokes. But in my opinion, it's an amazing song. I'm talking Leonard Skynyrd from the Pronounced Leonard Skynyrd album, the song Freebird. I don't care what anybody says, I love the song. The slide guitar in the beginning, the vocal melody, the way the song keeps building, and the guitar solos are amazing. It just gets like more crazy with the guitars playing really fast together. In my opinion, one of the greatest solos of all time, up there, top 10, you know, up there with like Stairway to Heaven and Hotel California. And here's something funny, you know, it's a joke, right? You go out to see a band and somebody yells Freebird. I have never heard a cover band play Freebird. Maybe it's because I'm too young, and maybe if I was seeing cover bands in the 70s and something happened, no one wants to touch that song anymore. But in my opinion, nobody plays it because it would be really hard to play. The organ, the guitar, just everything about the song. I think it's a great song, maybe my favorite Southern rock album of all time, and it's just an epic album closer. All right, here's a legendary one from Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon, the song Eclipse. Incredible album, and the way it just suddenly moves right into this song, and the way the song ends with an all that you touch, and it just keeps repeating. You know, that line sort of keeps changing, and the chords keep going over and over, and it's just such a dramatic, cinematic, bombastic ending to one of the greatest albums of all time. I saw Roger Waters in concert, and he ended his show with that, and he had all these images being projected, and it just sent a shiver up my spine. Love it. Eclipse. All right, my number one album closer of all time, the title track from Ozzy Osbourne's Diary of a Madman. That classical guitar intro, the way this song builds, the verse, the way like the chords in the verse are really sort of dissonant and eerie and creepy sounding. Randy's amazing guitar playing, and at the end of the song, when that choir kicks in, it just sends a shiver up my spine. It's so epic. I mentioned bells earlier. Whenever I hear a bell in a song, I love it. Whenever I hear a choir in a song, I love it, and it just makes it epic for me. And it started with this song. I can remember the first time I heard this on the radio. I had headphones on, and I was just, my mind was blown. And it's my favorite album closer of all time, Diary of a Madman from Ozzy Osbourne. Okay, there you go. 10 of my favorite album closers. Let me know in the comments down below some of your favorite final track album closers on a record. Make sure you head over to Spotify. Follow me there with my podcast. And until we see you again, make sure you stay heavy, stay metal.